I ordered some fish and chips the other day. I think you mentioned on one of the podcasts that fish and chips was one of your favourite fast foods, And I was thinking, I ordered minimum chips, and I thought, does anyone ever order more than minimum chips? When you order fish and chips, you order your 7 batter, your potato cake, your dim sims, and yeah, mate, I'll have a minimum chips. Do you ever order more than a minimum of chips?
Well, Paul, so some say that I can be a bit of a tight ass. I don't personally think it's true, but you know what I order when I go to fish and chips? Half minimum chips. It's actually an option at my local fish and chip store.
Half? Well, but wouldn't half minimum be the minimum?
No. You can actually order half minimum chips. I'm not even kidding.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. You order half minimum chips. So I do that. And
is that at Ronnie's folks fish and chips, or is that somewhere else?
Ronnie. Shout out to Ronnie. No, this is another local one.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I swear to God. So half minimum chips. It's the perfect amount too, because normally
you order below minimum.
I order below minimum because I'm a bit of a tight ass, if you know what I mean.
Welcome to Onboard For Delivery.
How good was it to have Dave O'Neill on the episode last episode?
Absolute royalty, Paul.
Like royalty
Dave
in
O'Neill.
the tech world.
He has been on Spicks and Specs 53 times. I looked it up.
53, yeah. 53.
He's been on the comedy
Maybe more.
galas. He has been on The Project. He's been in movies. He's written a show himself. He's done stand-up.
Radio star.
Absolutely. So that was an absolute honour. And so that was quite an honour to do that. So that's our first celebrity guest. We did want Ruby Rose, but she blocked us, unfortunately. So we had to settle for the next best looking lesbian type looking guy in Australia, our friend Dave O'Neill. So thank you very much, Dave.
Shout out to you, Dave. Thank you very much. So Tim, in the week of tech, because we are a tech podcast, let's not forget that. How have you gone? You spoke a few episodes ago about potentially upgrading your computer. How have you gone this week?
Paul, I pulled my trigger and I ended up buying a 4K editing machine during the week.
Wow.
Yeah. 4K editing machine. This has got more power than Chernobyl. This machine will allow me to edit 4K video. Not only that, I've got enough RAM. I didn't get how much RAM do you think I got? What's the average? What's the average?
Probably 16 or 32.
No. That amateurs, Paul. That's for amateurs. I got not 16, not 32, not 48, but 64 gigabytes.
You have always preferred the 64. So obviously 4K editing machine. A few episodes ago, you were talking about how I got a graphics card, which was an NVIDIA 2080 Super, which obviously there was a new generation of video cards that were just released that are capable of 4K and other sort of things. So what did you end up getting in the end? Obviously the 3080 or the 3090. I don't know which one you got, but I'll hear it for the first time now.
Paul, I think you might recall, I think I called you I don't think I used the word fool, but
yeah.
The viewers wrote in and, Phil, for instance, the
Oracle.
The guy that knows everything about computers, he didn't use the word fool, but I'll just paraphrase for him, okay? So he thought you were a fool for buying that because NVIDIA, not NVIDIA, which is the disease, NVIDIA, they announced the latest generation of these video cards, the 3080, which is they claim to be 50% or 100% faster, like double the speed of the old 2080. So you'd have to be an absolute fool, Paul, like you were only a couple of months ago buying it, knowing that it was released to the market just a few days ago. So the new version. So yeah, Paul, you were an absolute fool.
Come on, Tim. Which one did you get? Tell us.
I got the same one as Paul, actually. Yeah.
Did you really?
I did. I got the 2080 Super.
After all that.
I wasn't intending to get. I was intending to get like even a lower video card.
Oh, wow.
But we looked at the budget, and so I was working it out with Phil, and we're chatting online, and he's saying, "Oh, what about this one? And what about that one? And this one's a bit faster, and the CPU's a bit cheaper that was on sale, so we were saving some money there." And we thought, you know what, we can probably squeeze this one in, the 2080 Super. So ended up getting the same NVIDIA. I've got to learn how to say that properly. I've got the same one as you, Paul. So, you know, we can play games with each other now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we can. Yep. Looking forward to that. I can beat you once again, like the good old days of Command and Conquer and Red Alert. I can finally beat you. Well, finally beat you.
Yeah, and I thought Twister was the only game that I could beat you in, but now we're gonna see what happens online. I mean, you know what? We may even stream these games and commentate because our viewers have been writing in. TJ in particular, Phil,
TJ,
Ryan, Jason. Who else is watching the show?
TJ,
Peter, TJ.
Yep. Phil, Ryan, Jason.
All these people. Mum.
TJ.
So, yeah.
Phil, Ryan, Jason.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Ebony. She's a viewer of the show as well. So these.
Yep.
So we've pretty much named the 19 subscribers that we've got.
Yeah.
And
we named a few of them twice.
Yeah, we did.
They've got multiple accounts.
Exactly.
You know what I've been having recently is steamed dim sims, but with no soy sauce, no salt, just a steamed dim sim.
Okay.
It's surprisingly, it's so tasty.
I love the South Melbourne dim sims.
Yeah,
Do you get into those?
Not a fan. No.
No,
I find them too salty.
They're just bigger. They've got more balls, Paul, than
They're,
the
they're
regular
big
ones.
and round. I mean, I can totally understand why you want to put one of those in your mouth.
Absolutely.
But they're just salty and they've got like a burnt sort of flavour.
Maybe it depends how they cook them.
I think, I don't get the hype about South Melbourne dim sims. I actually went to South Melbourne. I went to the market in South Melbourne to get one of those back when they were in vogue. This was I don't know how many years ago, and maybe I was just excited by it, but I just didn't get there in the end. It couldn't get me there, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
So not a fan, but a good old dim sim. I actually had a book once that used to talk about like the glycemic index and the fat content and the sugar content and all the ingredients that go into all sorts of food. And I looked it up the other day to find out what was in a dim sim, and it just has an asterisk next to it. Doesn't know what's in there. So who knows what you're eating?
Yeah, you don't. I don't really want to know. That's one of those things in life that I really just don't want to know. Yep.
Yeah. So you're happy putting things in your mouth that you don't know what they are?
Yes, basically that's what I'm trying to say, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I was going to say, Paul, I need to compliment you on your lighting and your camera angles. So early in the podcast, let's be honest, you were experimenting, if you know what I mean, and you had weird angles. The camera would be like on like the basically the back of your head, pointed right at the cuts where you're cutting yourself shaving. You know, it looked redonkulous, Paul. So the last week or two, you finally figured it out. I think you had a bit of a setup there with your wardrobe. You're doing something a bit weird with your closet, if you know what I mean. But now you finally figured it out.
Yeah, well, I used to actually be in the closet, but I finally came out of the closet today with the desk, so it's in a much better position. But it's funny because I've actually... my lighting has become great and my camera angles are much better than what they were, but I was looking at your footage from last week, which was negligible to say the least. But do you realise that you had this cowlick or tuft of hair just hanging over your face the whole time? It was all I could do to look at it. I couldn't stop looking at it. And the camera, what settings were you on? Were you on cartoon mode or what mode were you on? Because it looked just... I have seen 5-year-olds take better video footage than what you did last episode.
Yeah.
Or 2 episodes ago, rather.
Yep. Well, we are a tech podcast, and we do claim to be technology, not just experts, but gurus. So, technology gurus. So, yes, it was a little bit embarrassing in the last the episode before. It's Guido. You're getting ready, start doing your exercise. You got your Adidas.
I was channeling was it David Boone? Just who was that?
Oh, you're back in front of Bay 13.
Yeah.
Merv Hughes. I think it was Merv Hughes.
Merv Hughes, that's right, not Boone.
Yeah.
Boone.
Yeah. Cricket.
But
hasn't cricket changed? Like it used to be a cultural phenomenon, but now it's nothing. It's not the same anymore. But back in the day, it was really men were men. They had a moustache. How many moustaches were there in the cricket? Like everyone had a moustache. They've kind of gone out of fashion, moustaches. Whenever you see someone, I always think they're having a moustache as a joke. Every time I see someone with a moustache,
Movember or something,
it's either Movember's one thing, but if it's outside of Movember, I always just think they're doing it as a bit of a joke, a bit of a dare. So,
yeah. Well, I must ask you a question, but I'm shaving it for later. But if you're in Brunswick in Melbourne, moustaches that's the hippie capital of the hipster capital of Australia in Brunswick. So just about everyone's got a moustache there or a mullet or some sort of man bun or something going on. But just want to remind you folks, this is a tech podcast and we bring you all things technology related. So you're getting a computer, that's great. You got what about you've got a 9mm lens, which I think, have you had to play around with that this week?
Well, I have, but I definitely prefer to play with my 30mm, and I wouldn't mind getting my hands on your 90mm lens though, Paul. I haven't had a good go at that one. It's fully
a
manual.
heavy piece of glass.
Yeah, it is, and it's got lots of knobs on it that I really want to start figuring out, because you haven't quite figured out all those knobs yourself, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it has, but I'll tell you what, it feels good in the hand. You know when something just feels good in the hand? It's got that solidarity to it. It's
good in both hands because it's so heavy. You really need both of them to hold that thing up.
Yeah, you do. Well, actually, I have a tripod, so 3 stiff legs to hold that one up. But it does feel good. But yeah, what a day today's been. It's the weather's getting really good now. Have you noticed that the weather's getting warmer and things like that? It's great. Yeah,
we're having some great days. So yeah, perfect days to get out there with the video camera and take photos. The kids are loving it at the moment, aren't they, Paul? They're just like, you took the camera out. You went to the skate park the other week or the other day, and you brought all your camera gear. You had your gimbal. You had it balanced. It took you. How long did it take to balance the gimbal?
I mean, how long should it take? 2 minutes?
Well, it took me. I did it slowly. It took me about 2 minutes 40 with a whole new lens.
Yeah,
and I was taking
that's
my
about
time.
average. It took me 35 minutes to balance, and then I realized I didn't put the battery in the camera. So once I put the battery in, I had to rebalance it. It took me another half an hour. But yeah, took the gimbal and all the equipment to the park to record the kids on their skateboards and have a lot of fun, and probably got a grand total of 2 minutes footage. Kids were just not into it. You know when they're just like, go away, they shoo you away, and they want to be with their friends or do their own things. So it wasn't very eventful, put it that way.
Yeah, could you almost say that you were pissed? Paul's pissed.
I was pissed, and you know what? I'm actually a little bit annoyed at Apple this week because they've released a new software on the iPhone, which is thumbs up. And if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumb as well. But let me tell you, you've got an Android, you won't get this, Tim, but I am getting constant notifications on my phone to upgrade my data storage. I've got a 512 gig phone. I haven't even used half of that. And I'm getting constant. This is the options it gives you. Option 1 is upgrade. Option 2, not now. So you think when you press upgrade, done, happy days. If you press the not now button, you think that they would just let it go? Just, move on, remind you in a few years' time? No. They remind you straight away. And if you're like me and you don't like those little 1 symbols in the corner of your apps that tell you there's something to look at, you click on it and it says, you need to upgrade your storage. And I go, not now. And then straight away it pops up again. You need to upgrade yours. They hassle you and hassle you and hassle you until you eventually get more storage. And then you finally get more storage, and you're paying another $15 a month for that. And then it happens again. You reach that. I'm at the end of my tether, apples. Just go away! I do not want to upgrade the amount of storage I have. I've got enough storage as it is. Piss off! Anyway, that's I'm on a serious note. It's so annoying. Oh, constant, Tim. You've got no idea. It's like someone knocking at your door trying to sell you something, and you say, not now, sorry, I'm not interested. And they're like, okay. And you close the door, and then knock, knock, knock. Straight away, they're there again. They hound you until you finally go through with it. And it's just, it's so frustrating. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to do it.
I have that same problem with my TV, Paul, because every time I turn my TV on, I have that same problem. Paul had a grand total of about 3 hours sleep last night. Say again? Huh? What are you doing?
No, go.
So my TV...
It reminds me of...
We've gone into silly mode,
It reminds me of...
This is the Tech Podcast. The premier show that brings you news, reviews, tech reviews, and debates. I'm Timothy J. Jeffrey. This is Paul Samuel James. So that my TV, Paul, every time I turn it on, every time I turn my TV on, Paul, it says, it puts this big banner in front of the screen that you can't see the TV. It says, do you wish to rescan? Do you wish to rescan? No, I don't. Because I did it once or twice. You know what it does? It takes about 5 minutes to rescan.
Yeah, and then it won't find all the channels?
No. It finds them. It finds about 300 channels. It finds like every single Arabian radio station, every single Chinese radio station, every single lesbian radio station. Paul, it finds everything. And when you go to flick through the channels, there's about 5,000 channels to flick through, and they're all shite. Paul, this
fuming.
I was fuming at this, Paul. I can't explain it. So now it's actually quicker for me just to say no, but every time I turn the TV on, I've got to click the button. I've got to click the cancel button every time. I want to watch The Bachelor. Cancel. I want to watch Survivor. Cancel. I want to watch the football. Paul. Masked Singer. I can't get any higher than this. I've got to keep... Bid. TV. Panasonic. Panasonic. I'm pissed. That's a thumb down from Onboard For Delivery. In fact, Panasonic, sod off. All right, so Paul, so getting back to technology, by the way, we're on Spotify, YouTube, and all other popular podcast networks.
And we are taking sponsorship. So Panasonic, if you're out there, if you want to redeem yourself from your atrocious behaviour on Tim's TV, please let us know, onboardfordelivery@gmail.com. Now, Tim, something I was thinking about while you were talking is that you said that you turn your TV on. That sounds a bit risque. What else do you turn on?
Well, okay, let's go back to the TV for 1 minute. So there's not many shows I watch. I don't watch much TV because there's nothing that's really that good. I watch The Bachelor. I make an effort for that. I watch The Masked Singer with my daughter. Mm-hmm. That's a bit of fun. We're watching the American season of that, by the way, which is... But the Australian... By the way, okay, the Australian costumes or masks are just 10 times better than the American ones. If you watch the American one, they had a kangaroo. It looked like just something you'd buy from Spotlight. It looked atrocious.
Yeah.
Atrocious. So the Australian Masked Singer is great. And Osher, he's a great host. Hughesy, he can't dance. Hughesy. He actually makes me feel good about my dancing because I think every every middle-aged white male who, has no rhythm just thinks, oh, I can't dance. But you watch Hughesy and you think, you know what? I think there's at least somebody worse off than me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, shout out to Hughesy. If you'd like to join us for the podcast, we'll have you on as a special guest.
And speaking of, go.
No, go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say I was watching. You mentioned the Masked Singer of the US to me, and I must have typed it in somewhere, and now I'm getting just notifications all over YouTube with the Masked Singer reveals, and I'm just watching that all day now. And one of the singers actually said that they really sing inside the costumes on television. And I don't know. Do you reckon? I reckon they're lip syncing. I reckon they're playing the soundtrack of them singing, and they're just dancing. There's no way they're singing through the costumes. But this guy was adamant. Shout out to Wayne Brady. That they sing through the costume. Do you reckon?
I think he's.
I don't reckon.
I think he's acting. So, so they hold a microphone. They've got a big costume. They're holding the microphone out like this.
Yeah.
Which can't be good. And I thought, well, maybe they've got like a little Madonna microphone in front of their mouth. But they don't have that either. They actually only have that microphone there. However, at the end of the show, they do sing for real. You can tell they're singing for real at the end of the show.
At the end they do, but I reckon during the recording, I reckon they're lip syncing because you can't see their lips, but I don't reckon they're singing.
Absolutely. It's not a live show. If you were to make that show, what would you do? And you would pre-record it, and if you stuffed up, you'd do it again. You don't want to make a bad
That's
show.
what I mean,
so absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
So what's planned? School holidays now, so got a bit of time to do some video stuff. What's planned for you, Paul, over the school holidays?
Yeah, well, look, I'm working, to be honest. I'm still working. So work is what I've got planned all this week. I might be able to get out a little bit and do some video and I've got to edit some of the so people that are listening on Spotify get the full episode, and YouTube, we upload these to YouTube as well, but I'm going to be editing some small little snippets for people as well for the YouTube community to watch that maybe don't want to sit through a whole episode but want to watch some of the funniest bits. So I'll be doing a bit of editing of that this week, and not to mention Flight Sim, because they just released a patch for it which has seemed to fix all my problems and has created problems for other people, but for me it's fixed, and it's just relaxing. You can sit there and fly a plane anywhere around the world. You can land wherever you want. You can crash into whatever you want. It's just such a great game. And I recommend that you get it when you get your new PC, Tim. Get Flight Sim.
Absolutely.
And then you have to get your controller, and you can't just use the mouse and keyboard. It's not that great. So you'll have to get a... In fact, I'm looking at upgrading my little setup here. So I could probably sell you my flight controller, if you know what I mean. I have touched it, but it's still perfect working order.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a go at your joystick. So I'm really looking forward, though, Paul, at beating you, if you know what I mean, at frame rates, because let's be honest, your machine has some limitations. Your CPU is about 3 or 4 generations old. Your RAM is quite slow, and your hard drive, compared to mine, your hard drive, Paul, is just going to be atrocious. Compared to mine.
The GPU is the same.
GPU will be the same, yes. I'm looking forward to beating you in the frame rate wars. That's what matters, let's be honest.
I'm glad you're adding that little bit, Tim, because the last thing I want you to do is to beat me off.
Yep.
Yeah, what else?
Yep. We're looking at doing a debate about mathematics, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, a math debate, yeah.
Yep. We are going to do some more video editing in 4K. We're going to be doing some real estate videography. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, right.
Looking forward to doing some... what else is there? That's about all, I think, really. Just editing this footage, because the 19 subscribers... by the way, wrestling. So there's a new wrestling federation called AEW. If you haven't checked out AEW, so TJ, if you haven't checked out AEW, check out their pay-per-views. They are choice. They are so good. They
choice brew.
They are just they are. It's so entertaining. Way better than WWE at the moment. So AEW, might check out some AEW during the week.
Yeah, look, TJ's probably all over that, but if he's not, he will be all over it after this podcast. We tend to release these quite late at night, and just when he's trying to go to bed, so he has to sit up and listen to them or watch them on YouTube. But that's such as the way it is. But by the way, if there's a special guest that you'd like to see on the show, let us know. Thumb us up from the below and comment below on who you'd like to see as a guest, and we'll do our best to get them.
Absolutely. And Ruby Rose, we are looking at you because Ruby, we want. Let's be honest, Paul. We need Ruby Rose for the podcast. We believe Ruby will be the silver bullet, if you will, for success. So we want Ruby Rose. So Ruby, if you're watching, which do you reckon there's what do you think the odds are of Ruby Rose watching this podcast? What do you think the odds are?
Look, I mean, as I say, Tim, the chances of you being killed by a cow are low, but never zero. So I think the chance of her watching this is extremely, extremely low, but never zero.
Like 1 in 1,000, or like
one in a. The amount of chance a sperm has of finding the egg, 1 in 10 billion, I reckon.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Ruby Rose.
I certainly am.
Yes, Ruby Rose. So we're going to get Ruby Rose on the show, and I'm sure she's into technology. Do you reckon she knows about Sony A6400 and color grading? And
I'm sure she would. I mean, I'm sure Guido knows all about her. I'll talk to him next episode and find out what he thinks of Ruby Rose. But I'm sure she's made contact with him.
I think she would turn for Guido. I reckon.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, definitely. There is only anyone would turn for Guido.
Okay.
Anyone.
Now speaking of women, so The Bachelor is coming close to an end. They're up to the final 4. We haven't seen. I think the next episode is tomorrow night. We're filming this on a Tuesday, and we've got Bella, Irina. We've got who are the other 2 left? Oh, Beck, the new intruder.
I thought you were just sticking your rude finger up at me then.
And there's,
but,
yeah, so which one was it again?
That's
There's a
like
4th one. Who's the 4th? Bella, Irina. If you know, thumb us below and give us a comment. Who is the 4th?
Is it the new girl? Is it
or
the,
Beck?
the intruder?
No,
Oh, you already
Beck.
said that.
Already said Beck.
Yeah.
There's a 4th one. Oh, man, I can't think of who it could be. Like Bella and Irina are the... no. There was a girl from Geelong.
No.
Steph.
No, I'm out.
I think she left. The girl from Geelong, which was... Steph. We should get Steph on the show, Paul. Do you see Steph?
Yeah, right, yeah.
She was a teacher.
Steph, if you're watching.
She's a school teacher.
Yeah.
Paul.
And we did speak about school teachers last episode.
When I was at school, my teachers did not look like Steph.
No,
My teachers...
No.
My teachers look like Donald Trump, Paul. That's what my teachers look like.
My female teachers look like Stephen Hawking. It's just, you just don't know what you're going to get. But I think, what have I said?
So Steph's from Geelong. We could get her on the podcast. So Steph.
Yeah, we could.
And but I'm trying to think, who is the 4th girl left? Who is it?
No, I can't remember. But they did release the some rumors about who's going to be on. Is it Bachelor of Paradise or what's the next Bachelor? You know, they all get recycled, Tim. Like the girls and guys that don't make it in one, they just get recycled with the next series of the next show, and it's like they're addicted to reality TV. These people.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, by the way, folks, welcome back to the podcast, which is full of technology news. And today we've covered lots of topics around technology. And it's getting extremely late. This was going to be a quick episode because, as you can tell,
everyone likes a quickie.
We've lost the plot. We don't know what we're doing here. We can't figure out. That 4th girl just escapes me. Who is the 4th girl? Who is it? Can't figure it out. Well, yeah, comment down below anyway. So, all right, Paul. I think it's time to end our 14th. Our 14th episode, would you believe?
14.
Yep. 14th episode. So without any further ado, it's good night from Onboard for Delivery. Good night. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.